Welcome to the stream, everybody. If you're tuning in, we're going to talk about some nice subjects. We're going to record this also. You're going to get the recording after, maybe in tomorrow or the next day. Yeah, I'm just going to chill, talk about some important ideas, topics. And yeah, if you're tuning in live, shout out to you. And yeah, my friends, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
All right. Are you pretty much ready to start doing the actual video, Shiva?
Yeah, I am.
All right. I'm gonna have the questions up on the
So tell me the
screen
three
here.
questions in basically how to be more stable.
So how to keep stability, balance, and vibrance, which is the one I probably want to focus on the most, the vibrance part, in today's world and society when there's a lot of performance pressure.
Okay,
So let's just do let's not. I'm not gonna go through all three. Like I'll go through one, and then when we finish talking about it, I'll bring up the second one. You know what I'm saying? So that way we don't get lost in the sauce.
All right. What's up, Jimmy Crackhorn? Let's do it. So, how to be more stable and more vibrant. Got it.
Yes.
Jimmy Crackhorn. Once upon a time, there was a Jimmy Crackhorn, and he ate all the corn. Dun, 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 dun.
Why are you this cultured? You live in a bubble your whole life. That's all I'm gonna.
Okay, let's get it going, man.
All right, let's get it cracking. Whoop-de-whoop. All right, Shiva, you ready for your intro?
I'm gonna start recording. Yep, pretty much.
Remember, this is a member-requested video for Scary Hours podcast. Jimmy Crackhorn hit the like button for me already. Thank you very much, Jimmy Crackhorn. Shout out to you. All right, Shiva, you ready?
Yeah.
I need this to be epic. This is member-requested video, member perk for the people paying a monthly subscription for the member for the YouTube channel. Okay, that's the biggest part that I need you to focus on.
Roger that, ladies and gentlemen. Over and out.
You don't hear any audio, Jimmy Crackhorn? What the fuck? What's going on, Shiva?
I can hear you. You're moving on my screen.
Hello. My microphone's not working. Oh shit! Hold on a second.
Fail.
What the fuctual act is going on right now? Hello. I can hear it now. Can you hear me now, Jimmy Crackhorn? Hello. Wait, why did it go away for a second and now it came back?
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen?
Hello. It goes and comes back. You were sounding funny on Shiva's stream. Hold on, maybe it's the noise gate. You were sounding funny on Shiva's stream. Hold on, maybe it's the noise gate.
You're sounding fine on mine. Tell me, ladies and gentlemen, if you hear Carlos on my chat. Let me know down below in the comments. Tell me if we're sounding both fine.
Hello. No, there is something going on. Like when I'm talking, I'm not seeing my meter moving at all.
Oh, very interesting. Yes.
Guy says, yeah, sound keeps going out. Yeah, something's weird. Hold on a second, Shiva.
Sure. The anime trap star says, you want to be Sadhguru, ...
Hello. Okay, I think it should be good now. Let me know, guys.
That is correct. I want to be Sadhguru. We got 17 people watching. Shout out to all of you. I hope the biggest blessings in your life comes to you. Tomorrow.
Sounds good like it normally does. Okay, cool. Now everything's back to normal. All right, we're good, Shiva.
Yes, man.
All right, you ready? I can hear you again. Now I'm wondering if I should add the noise filter, but maybe not.
What's up, Joshua? Shout out to you.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Sky, shout out Jimmy Crackhorn. Thank you guys for joining. Today we're going to be doing a member. So we have memberships for the channel that you can pay a monthly subscription. It's I don't know if I'm, for some reason I think YouTube has a rule against advertising it, but anyway, it's a very low dollar amount per month, and you pay, and then you get to request one video per month of any topic that you would like us to cover. So any issue that you have going on in your life or anything you want us to talk about, relationships, spirituality, making money, whatever it is, you sign up to my membership perks, and you get that. So this is one member that signed up for it. This is for Krish, and he gave us some questions that he wants to discuss today, and that's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to start the official video. Shiva is going to do the intro because he's the intro goat. And yeah, you guys can, anybody who's watching the video, feel free to ask questions as well or for further explanation on things. Just let's try to keep it on topic because, again, this is somebody paid for this video. So I kind of have to keep on the topic that he's requesting specifically. So anyway, on that note, Shiva, you ready?
I'm ready, baby.
All right, let's get it cracking and starting in 3, 2, 1. Take it away, Shiva.
How to be more stable and more vibrant in your life. Today is a very special video because someone paid us to talk about it. This particular subject is not like the other subjects. Get them away from me. Because this video was paid and brought to you by Carlos's membership subscriber. We're gonna discuss very detailed explanations as how to be grounded, powerful, stable, vibrant human beings, like I am right now, like Carlos is and always will be. These ideas are gonna change your life so hard. Be prepared. Make sure your adult diapers are on you because accidents are guaranteed. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show and welcome my co-host, Carlos Fernandez, DJ Los, the man, the myth, the legend, DJ Los. Shout out to you. What's going on with you, my friend?
Once again, amazing introduction from Shiva Kailash Shambho. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel, Shiva Kailash Shambho. Also join his Discord in the description of all his videos. So yes, this video request comes from one of the member subscribers paying on a monthly basis to request videos of any topic of their choosing. And also they get early access to all of my videos that are released. This particular member was Krish. So one of the members is asking which one of you was it that's up. This particular member was a member of my Discord and Shiva's Discord. His name is Krish. So shout out to you, Krish. And we're going to be answering his questions. The member, like Shiva said, it was basically how to stay balanced and stable in this, and also vibrant in this life. But also I want to add that he mentioned that it's in the context of being stable, vibrant, and stable in today's world, where there's societal pressures for performance. So Shiva, what do you think about that?
Let's talk about this. First and foremost, let's debunk this, my friends, because it doesn't matter what the society thinks of you, wants from you. It only matters what you think and want. Who cares what they say? Do it. As long as it's ethical and you're kind, do whatever you like. Your parents not giving you permission to do what you like? Pfft, scoff at them. Turn your attention away from them because you are mortal. Always remember that, my friend. You're not going to be here for a long time or forever. Do what you want.
Let's talk about, though, what are the societal pressures? What are they? What do you think some of the societal pressures are that may be hindering somebody from feeling stable and vibrant in today's society?
Your parents, your teachers, mentors, friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, church leaders. That's about it.
I'd be interested to know specific. Wow. Somebody in the comment section said white people.
No. Don't do that.
What white people are part of the things that are keeping us not vibrant in today's society. That's what he said. That's what the chat. That's what the commenters saying. I'm not saying that YouTube. He also said I'm white too. Yeah, no. So basically, being stable and vibrant in today's society, in spite of societal pressures, I would agree with Shiva. I mean, it basically comes down to who's telling you to become susceptible to society's pressures. Why do you feel susceptible to society's pressures? Just ignore them. You know what I mean? And I think that Shiva hit it exactly on the head. Is realizing your life is limited. You only have one life to live, and it's yours, not society's life to live, right? I know now, unfortunately, yes. We do have to give some credence, right? And let's not just write it off like, okay, this is a stupid question. We do have to give some credence to it. I mean, there are certain things, like let's say in his case, I think Chris holds a regular job. I think he goes to college. He probably, maybe he wants a girlfriend. So he is kind of falling into because of those things, he might have to fall in line with some of society's pressures, right? He's not like you, Shiva, where you're just like completely liberated from all, from all that the world has to offer. Unfortunately, we can't all live that way. So let's take this from the point of view of somebody who is, dealing with society's pressures and who maybe doesn't have a choice like we do, about having to deal with it. How would you then suggest him to be able to remain stable and vibrant in that scenario?
I really dislike this question because it leads me down to answering somebody that's shackled. How do you be free at the same time be shackled? You unshackle yourself. Hey, if I can do it and Carlos can do it, so can you. My question to you, the listener, would be, why are you doing that, huh? Why are you being a good little boy, following along like what the people are trying to tell you to do? Why can't you just be free? You scared out there? Maybe not. What do you think, Carlos?
So I would say this is one thing I would say, because there's one thing to say, don't fall into society's pressures. But then that could also be taken to the extreme. People take things the wrong way sometimes, and they might say something like, oh, so that means I could just walk around, butt naked or something, And so there is still part of like falling into society's pressures. Like, who am I? For example, he said, I got mouths to feed. That's exactly right. So, for example, I would say for me, the actual answer would be to go ahead and fall into society's pressures. I would say, first of all, maybe integrate some of society's pressures and stop identifying them as societal pressures and just take them on as pressures that you put upon yourself, right? Because what are society's pressures anyway? They want you to make money. They want you to pay taxes. They want you to they want you to maybe be physically fit. I don't know. What are the society pressures? They want you to act a certain way, politically correct. I would say you can just take those on as pressures that you put on yourself, right? Like, do I want to be a good, effective communicator? Absolutely. Do I want to have a bunch of money? Absolutely. Do I want to have women? Yeah, absolutely. So I would just maybe take ownership over those pressures so that way I don't feel like it's somebody else trying to impede on my life. And I would just put those pressures on myself, number one. Number two, you can meet society's expectations of you in whatever way you want, right? Like, you don't have to do it. I think the issue that it sounds like that you're having, Chris, specifically, is that you're trying to meet society's pressures, but probably in a way that you don't particularly enjoy. So in my particular case, I became a DJ. So shout out to me for that. And I was able to meet all of society's expectations. I had money, I had girls, I had lots of fun. Nobody thought there was nothing, nobody was judging me. Like, so, no, I wasn't socially awkward or anything. I wasn't going against society's pressures. If anything, anybody that I ran into was jealous of the life that I was living, because I had to work maybe 2 days a week. and I was making more money than they did in a week. I was making in a day. So I could say I was still meeting society's expectations, but it came down to me taking a risk, and that could be scary, especially like if you're a person that's a wage earner, you work a 9 to 5 job, let's say a corporate job or whatever, or you go to college, and you're trying to go the safe route. Then I could see how that could be holding you back from being vibrant. But if you jump out and you take a risk and, meet society's pressures in your own way, then that wouldn't stop you from being vibrant, I would say. So I would say that would be the first step, is to find a way to, because, I mean, let's just be honest, and Shiva, you might disagree with this, but society has these pressures for a reason, right? Does society want you to be successful? Of course it does, right? Because why? Because they want you to be a contributing member to civilization, right? Like they want you to pay your taxes, they want you to help other people. I don't know, whatever, right? There's a reason. Societal pressures don't necessarily have to be seen in a negative light. There's societal pressure from your parents to become successful. Is there anything actually wrong with that? I don't think so. You get what I mean? So I would say become at peace with these pressures, and just, I would say the only thing that you would need to change is your idea of how to meet these pressures. And if you find a creative way that you can enjoy to meet these pressures, then I think that'll be the actual solution to this problem. Shiva, Kailash, Shambho.
I would say don't go to jail. That's what I would say. Be free to the limit of them putting you in jail.
There you
You
go.
want to walk around without any clothes? No, thank you. I'm gonna call the cops on you, even though I'm very free. Because nobody wants to see that. Don't go to jail out there. Follow the rules of the law, but don't follow the rules of other people. You shouldn't behave this way. You shouldn't dress this way. You shouldn't talk this way. No, I'll talk however way I want. I'll dress however way I want. I'll behave however way I want. If it means me going to the not good place behind bars, okay, I'll change my behavior, because that's not free to be there. But don't be yourself. Be yourself. Don't change yourself for other people.
Yeah, so so I agree with you, Shiva. So I think what Shiva is saying is basically, even he agrees that we do have to fall within some of societal standards. Like he said, keep all the laws of the country that you live in. Number one, I totally would agree with that. If you don't, for whatever reason, like, the laws in your particular country, and there's another country that has better laws, then maybe, you got to find a way to get there. But in the meantime, definitely follow the laws of wherever place you're living in. We definitely advocate for that. We're law-abiding citizens here on Scary Hours podcast. Who Am I says, not everyone can set aside their integrity and leech off their mom and dad. Jesus.
You are. Why don't you come on our podcast and show your face, huh, buddy? You've been leeching off my YouTube video for years. No, well, I got a podcast. Shut up. Your opinion doesn't matter.
I do want to say something. Who am I? Because I myself have had to wrestle with this, and with Shiva's the way Shiva lives his life, and I've had to come to a new realization about this, because I've been running into not only Shiva but also several people through meeting people through YouTube and Discord now that are in a very similar situation, and I think that we can look at this from many different standpoints. This point that you're bringing up about leeching, quote unquote, from your mom and dad. So one, there's many cultures, for example, where they promote, keeping the family together. and they don't consider it leeching. They just do it for financial purposes. It's actually the smartest thing to do is to keep the family together. It's actually really a bad strategy to have everyone just go their separate way. As much as like we value independence here in the States, that's not a universally accepted stance around the world, right? So the other thing that I've had to also realize is that some of us are, some of us have like rich parents, for example. Like some of us have successful parents, and our successful parents are giving us an opportunity in a lot of cases to live the life that we want and make the income that we need in whatever way we deem fit for our lives, and therefore we're not forced to do things we don't want to do, and unfortunately we don't all have that opportunity. You're correct about that. Who am I? So like I didn't have that opportunity, right? Like my parents aren't well off, and I had to for many years do things that I didn't want to do in order to get to where I wanted to be independently. But you have to also understand that not everybody lives in that situation. And I give this example yesterday about like if you go back to the times of kings and queens, for example, the prince didn't leave home. He didn't go off to some distant land to buy his own apartment and to suffer and to work hard. He lived in the castle, with his mom and dad. Because why wouldn't he? That's the place where he could prosper the most, as long as he's still developing himself, right? As becoming ready to be the inheritor of the kingdom. I don't see any problem with it, and that's what Shiva's trying to do, basically. Like
Correct.
he's living with his mom and dad, or his mom, because why? Because his mom loves him. Is there something wrong
Yes,
with that?
that's right.
If anything, who am I? I would say you're one of those people that Chris is talking about. With these societal pressures, right? Like, it's not socially acceptable for a man to be living at home. I mean, you can choose
Correct.
to subscribe to that magazine if you want, but Shiva has decided to not fall for that nonsense. And I think I've also come to that realization that it is actually nonsense. Um,
Yes. And who am I? You should answer your question for you. You haven't even figured out your own identity. Why don't you go in the closet with the lights turned off and figure out who you are? Then come back to us and give me some real advice. Huh? Good.
yeah. So somebody says, I'm telling people I'm a sheltered prince from now on. Sheltered Prince podcast. I mean, it's true. There's another guy, shout out to Tom. He also had to kind of break my concept of this as well. Cause I was coming from the same place as you. Who am I? Was like, hey, go be your own man, live and be independent. But this other person, Tom, he told me the same thing. He was like, bro, my parents are rich. He's like, I'm not even living in their house. Like he doesn't live in the house with them. They have a separate house. So they have several homes. So imagine, let's say your parents are rich and they got 10 homes. And they're like, hey, you can have this one. It's yours for free. And you have to pay, you don't pay nothing. Are you gonna tell me you're gonna turn that down just to like what? To be a man or something? Like I think it's kind of silly. So yeah, I think it actually should be taken as a huge opportunity, because I could imagine myself, as long as I did the same actions that I took, like the same amount of work effort and work ethic, while living at my parents' house rent free, then my income would have grown exponentially at that point. You get what I'm saying? Versus wasting money on paying rent just to what? Just to prove to who am I that I'm a real man and all that. It's kind of nonsense. So this is one of those things about societal pressures. I think that Chris is pointing to, is that you have to decide for yourself. Um, what I would say is this: the standard should be your mental health. So whatever puts you in the most optimal mentally healthy position to thrive and to be able to get the most amount of things done is what you should do regardless of what society thinks. That's, I think, the ultimate standard.
I agree 100%, wholeheartedly.
So let me see here. So firstly, that was his first question, vibrance and stability. Yeah, just I would say it's more of a matter of finding the thing in your life to meet society standards that can keep you feeling like vibrant and stable. Okay? Like if you have a I hope everybody catches what I'm saying there, right? Like if you have like a boring job and you hate it, there's nothing that's going to keep you vibrant and stable if you hate like if you just genuinely just hate your job objectively, then you're not going to be vibrant and stable. What I don't want you to think, Chris, is that this is something that you can just meditate away. Okay? If you're like, I think even Shiva, you spoke about this, right? Like life is, I think even Sadhguru I've heard talk about this, that like life is hard. There's no need for us to find or put ourselves into difficult situations, right? Because life is already hard on its own. Right? He talked about that, right, Shiva?
Absolutely
Can
correct.
you expand on that a little bit?
Life is already hard, my friends. What are you gonna put extra weight on top of you while you're climbing the mountain? Are you okay in the brain? Chillax a little bit. Go live with your family if that's what you need to do. Stop complaining that I have good family members that love me. Oh, I should be ashamed of myself. No, you should be ashamed of yourself. Ridiculous. Get him out of here.
Yes. I mean, I think Shiva, honestly, if you just look at it, this guy makes unlimited amounts of content per day. Like he's literally always working on his craft, and I mean, he's getting better at it. So, what can you say? If you have something against that, I mean, at this point, I just come to the conclusion that it's just kind of hating. So anyway, secondly, Chris wants to ask, how do you deal with expectations of other people in your life, parents, family, teachers, friends, society in general? A lot of people have unrealistic expectations. She was probably the master at this question here.
I don't deal with people's expectations of me. What? You expect things from me? No, wrong. By default, it doesn't sink in. I have that unchecked by default. No expectations can fall upon me. You're trying to put expectations, falls away, gone. Where did the expectations go? On the floor.
Yeah, again, I would agree with that. Yeah, so Chris, what I would, from your from the sequence of questions that you're asking, I'm getting there's a pattern here that I'm sensing is that you are, or whatever, I don't know your culture. I don't know what your parents are like. I don't know, maybe you're stuck. Maybe you don't have a choice in the matter. But basically, it seems like you have a hard time. You have a hard time being autonomous, basically, for whatever reason, and I would personally say that you should make that your number one priority is to become autonomous as soon as possible. Because if you do live in a current situation where you're forced to deal with other people's expectations, which is a very real thing, like maybe Shiva's parents, even though he lives at home, maybe they don't bother him. It seems like they don't bother him that much. They probably let him do mostly whatever he wants. But I understand that not all of us have those type of parents, right? Some of us have very strict parents. They expect you to do certain things. They expect you to, like I know people who are like, oh, you have to learn to play the piano. You have to go to school this many hours. You have to study this long. You have to become a doctor. You have to, they have these, and you have to do it. Or like they disown you or something, or I don't know, whatever repercussions there might be. So if that's the case that you're living in, then I would say definitely figure out a way to become autonomous. That would be the solution for that. Or else just meet their standards. And you may have to do that for some time until you become autonomous. because at the end of the day, and I think Shiva pretty much already said this, but again, guys, this is your one and only life. Like, I don't know how old you are, Krish, but you sound like you're in your early 20s at least. Um, but that part of your life is precious. Your youth, you're never gonna get it back again. And as you get older, you just get more and more tired, more and more. You can get sick. The chances go up that you become unalive for whatever reason. Um, so you don't want to waste your life meeting other people's expectations. You should develop your own sense of reality and your own expectations that are according to your own standards, and you should just live up to those. So that way you can feel fulfilled, and that when it comes time for you to be on your let's just say it, when it comes time for you to be on your deathbed, there's not going to be anybody there except for you, looking back at your life and deciding, okay, was I happy with the way that I lived my life or not. So I would say think about that, meditate on that. Anything else on that, Shiva, before I move on to the third question?
No, move on.
Third question is also address how we can integrate spirituality seamlessly into the modern, fast-paced, and hasty world. And also, how can we introduce people to spirituality, especially younger people? I like this question right here. Shiva, take it away. This is yours.
Let's answer the first question because the second question is quite irrelevant. First
Okay.
question. How do you integrate spirituality in this fast-paced modern world? The answer is you don't. You live your own life. Who cares what society is doing? Fast or slow, irrelevant. Doesn't matter to me. I'm living in my own society. This is my society. Look at me. Society of one. I'm the president, prince, ruler, mayor, judge, and politician.
Yeah, so I
don't
would
do
say
that.
definitely as much as possible, you want to live, you want to get like you want to get the answer. The ultimate answer is you want to get to where she was at, right? However he got there, he could just be lucky, right? But again, Shiva, I'm just going to invite you to take the perspective of somebody who just is not in your situation, right? But, just imagine somebody who's not. Let's say, like, remember when you were younger and you had your stepdad and your dad and your mom telling you what to do and you hated it and there was nothing you could do about it, and you even got to the point where you like were losing your mind over it and stuff. I would say put yourself in that situation for a second, and what advice would you give in that case about trying to be spiritual in the face of those limitations and constraints?
Watch all my videos. Hire me for a spiritual consultation. Do everything you can to get in my physical presence. That's it, the end.
Yeah. So, Chris, I would say personally, the question was how can we integrate in this modern fast-paced life? Yeah. So basically, you're gonna have to do this. What do they say? You're gonna have to do this intentionally. You're gonna have to set aside some intention to where again, you can't escape society. You can't escape. You're part of this world. There's unfortunately you're gonna have to interact with it more than Shiva does. Unfortunately, most of us have to deal with it more than Shiva does. And so there is no escaping it. So I would say number one, adopt a stoic mentality. And we talked a little bit. You can watch the video that we did the other day about what is power. And we talked a little bit about stoicism, which is the idea of accepting life for what it is. And basically, it just comes down to not being surprised by it anymore, right? So, like when you wake up in the morning, don't think about how you can escape this hasty, fast-paced world. Just wake up in the morning and say, okay, all right, I know I'm in a hasty, fast-paced world. I'm not going to be caught off guard or blindsided by it anymore. I'm going to expect it and I'm going to maneuver accordingly. So I'd say the first thing is to just not be, um, don't let it catch you by surprise anymore. I think that's probably rule number one. Wake up every day expecting it for it to be that way, and then just figure out, okay, what's the most tactically beneficial way for me to maneuver this fast-paced, hasty world. Number two, I would say, is just set aside a specific amount of time, whether it be daily or weekly or whatever, for you to have a spiritual practice. I remember before I became paralyzed, I would, for me, it was playing soccer was one thing, and also going to the gym was my second thing. And when I say going to the gym, working out was one thing. Working out is still annoying, so that probably didn't help as much mentally. But my gym also had a sauna, for example. And the sauna for me became like my meditation place. So I'd go to the sauna and I'd meditate, and that would help me clear my thoughts. And I spoke about this in a previous video as well, but basically, for me, meditation wasn't strong enough. So I had to combine it with a sauna. And so what I did for myself to clear my thoughts was I would sit there, I would meditate, and I would try to clear my thoughts, but it wouldn't work, right, outside of the sauna. But then when I combined it with the sauna, I would sit there, I would try to clear my thoughts. And then when it wouldn't work, I'd be sitting in the sauna the entire time, and I would tell myself, okay, brain, this is me speaking to my brain now. I'd say, okay, brain, this is what's about to happen now. I'm about to force both of us to be stuck in this sauna until you completely relinquish all negativity and all negative thoughts from my brain and just clear them up. And if you don't do that, if you don't feel like doing that, brain or mind or ego or whatever, then I'm not leaving this sauna from a physical standpoint. I'm literally, my body will not get up. I will refuse to get up and leave this sauna. And so you can only imagine after 30, 40 minutes, hour, whatever, it gets very, very uncomfortable. And you're sitting there, it's you against your brain. And then I promise you, for me, I'm not, again, this is not medical advice. Please don't do anything to put yourself in harm's way. But for me, it worked. I stayed in the sun so long, and my brain was like, feeling negative. But it was also like, can we get the hell out of here? And I was like, no, because you're still feeling negative. So until you get this negativity out of my head, I'm not leaving. And then my brain was like, whatever, fine. Then let's see who can last longer. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And then it was like, all right, can we please leave now? And I'm like, nope, I told you, until my mind feels completely clear and empty, I'm not getting out. And my brain would be like, please just get me out. Like, I'll do anything. Like, okay. And then finally, after certain amount of time, my brain would tap out and I would win. I would win the battle in that case, and my brain would just become clear, calm, and like it seemed like everything just melted away. And I'd say, okay, that's what I effing thought. You better freaking clear yourself. And then I get up and I walk out of the sauna, and that was my spiritual practice. And for everybody, it may be different. And this is one thing that I want. So first of all, the answer to your question is you have to set aside time in this fast-paced, hasty world for your spiritual practice. The other thing is I would suggest is to be open to different spiritual practices. So for me, meditation was never really my thing. I'm a more of an extreme person, so I need more extreme things. And I would say even some things that some people might consider weird. And I learned this from Elliot Hulse, for example, when he talked about being in depression. He described depression as this thing where the energy is kind of being stuck within you and it's being repressed. And so he described the process of getting out of depression would be to free your emotions and free the energy, right? So he actually recorded himself doing this one time. Did you ever see this, Shiva? Elliot Hulse's like how to free yourself from depression video, where he went crazy on video. You saw him do it? You saw him? It was nuts. It was literally nuts, but it was so just look up this guy Elliot Hulse and look up I don't know if he still has it up or not, but this was a long time ago.
It's called the craziest breathing video ever by Elliot Hulse.
Okay, yeah, look that up, I would say. And so he basically just went into this trance where he was just yelling, screaming, breathing hard, breathing fast, doing crazy movements, just whatever to just break up his thought process of negativity. And he just did that until he felt better, you know. And even Shiva, I remember even Shiva gave me this advice one time. When I first met Shiva, and again, this is a story I've told many times. I was going through depression because I was going through a breakup from my wife at the time, and I just could not break free from it. And I called Shiva, and Shiva said, every time that you feel that coming on, just yell really loudly at that emotion, and tell it to go away, essentially. And I thought that was weird. It was weird as fuck. It's like, just imagine me sitting in my room yelling, like, no, leave me alone. I'm not going to feel this F you emotion of negativity. Get away from me, you demon. I cast you away. Like, F you. I'm not going to deal with it. No, 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 no. Okay, okay. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. And as weird as that may have been, it worked. You get what I'm saying? And then what that taught me, and watching Elliot Hulse's videos also taught me, was that it's all about having a pattern. What do they call it? A pattern interrupt is what they call it. So your brain gets caught up in these loops sometimes, and you just have to find a way to break that loop. And, you know, again, I don't recommend anybody hurting themselves, but I found different ways. Even if I had to, like, pinch myself, give myself a little, you know, pat on the cheek. If I had to do a weird dance, if I had to take a cold shower, super freezing cold shower, whatever it was, yell, scream, play a sport, have a phone, whatever it is, you can break free from those thought patterns. And so, again, to answer your third question about how we can integrate spirituality into this modern, fast-paced world, is you have to intentionally set aside some time, probably every day, for a while until you break free from it, to intentionally do something to free your mind. That's my answer to that. And then, as far as how do we introduce people to spirituality, Shiva, I know you said this is irrelevant, but I mean, you're trying to introduce people to spirituality, so how irrelevant can it actually be?
You be spiritual.
That's pretty much a good answer. So, yeah, I would say introducing spirituality is, first of all, I'm very curious to understand what is why this is one of your major concerns of introducing other people. Like, first of all, when it was me going through this, like when I was dealing with anxiety and depression, I didn't have time for anybody else. It was so intense for me that I was like, bro, I need to get myself out of anxiety, depression, forget other people. Right? But if you're in a place like that, then good. Maybe you're not as messed up as I was. But how to get them into it? First of all, they have to be in a place where they want to be into it. I would say that's number one. You're not going to be able to just convince somebody to be spiritual. They're going to have to, seek it for themselves. And so I think the best way, like Shiva said, is you become spiritual, you become mentally free. They see it in you, and then naturally they'll be like, "Why? How's this guy so calm? How's he so peaceful? How's he so integrated?" And then they might ask you at that point, "Hey, like, how are you managing with this stressful life?" And then the doors open for you at that point. Utah Abid Fishing says, "I'm in college right now and I hate it." He also says, "Being for real, me too, Chris, and nice on the DJ thing. That's awesome. I'm a plumber working on getting my journeyman's license, and I do have to work hard to be my best self with all the hard work that it takes."
Drop out.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say drop out, but I would say just do whatever it takes. Understand this, that for most of us, there is going to be a time period of doing things we don't want to do. unfortunately, unless you're in Shiva's position where you can just do whatever you want all the time. But for the rest of us, there is going to be a time period of you're kind of forced to do. And I would say sometimes I always try to tell people this. From my estimation, there's a good 5 year period. I would say minimum 5 to 7 year period where you have to really just put your head down and just suck it up and just do stuff that you don't want to do. But that entire time, what you're going to want to be doing is limiting your expenses, saving as much money as possible, and then using that money to then catapult you into a different place in your life where you can do something that you actually want to actually do. So for me, I remember I was working a corporate job. I hated it. I had to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day, drive an hour and a half to work, and then hated my job. But I had to do it for a certain amount of years until I saved up enough money to become a DJ, to buy my DJ equipment, and then I finally freed myself. So what I would say is if you're stuck in that situation where you can't really escape your current scenario, is I would focus on gathering resources, limit your expenses as much as possible, and don't waste the time, right? Like people say, if you're going through hell if you're going through hell, just keep going, because like let's say you're going through hell, let's say you made it halfway through, right? If you turned around and try to go back, it's the same distance of just going through it, right? The other way, going forward, and you get out of it eventually, right? So just don't waste the time. The time that you're stuck in this situation that you don't want to be in, make the most of it. Just make money, save it, and then learn the whole time. Be researching businesses and ways to invest that money so that you can eventually escape as soon as possible. Sorry for the long-winded answers. Shiva?
I think that's the end of this video. Goodbye.
So yes, Chris, I hope that video was useful to you. Once again, for everybody, thank you everybody who's in the chat. Wow, I can tell it's crazy. Utah, subscribe to the channel. Everybody subscribe, hit the like button for me if you don't mind, please. And also, wow, hit the subscribe button for me, hit the like button. Also, join Shiva Kailash Shambho's channel. Look him up on YouTube, Shiva Kailash Shambho. If you also have questions that you want answered and you want us to make a video addressing your specific questions, also consider becoming a channel member. That is a perk of becoming a channel member. You get to pick a topic of your choosing every single month, and also you get access to the videos before everyone else does. So yeah, also hit the description of all of our videos to join our Discords. And that is the best way to stay in communication with us. And we also invite anybody who wants to be on the video calls with us, hit us up, again, through the Discords, and we will bring you on if you want to have a conversation, if you want to debate us, if you think we're saying something is dumb, we're here for it. So on that note, thank you guys for watching.
We're gonna go to the Discord. We're gonna go to the Discord video call right after this video. You join us on Discord, catch us on video call right after this.
Yeah. On that note, this is your host signing off. Another Scary Hours podcast. We'll catch you guys on the next one.